up there for the current team to know what the standard is?
It's probably both. I mean, you hit it on the head. We call it RAS, Reticular Activating System, or for those that have seen Silence of the Lambs, right? We covet what we see. And so what you see around here is All-Americans and championship teams. And so for them to see that every day, the visual of that every day, the power of that every day is just a reminder, as to why you work hard, why you chose to come here, and it's fun because this group has put themselves in a position. We talk a lot about dog piles, and we got to have one the other night. Which those are the memories. Those are the things you'll remember for the rest of your life.
Speaking of that banner, one of the people that helped up there was Chris Dominguez. What's it going to be like to get him back this weekend?
Yeah, it's always proud of our former players, and especially those that are coaching. And Chris is, you hate to say one of your favorites because you have a lot of favorites, but man, he was a fun kid to coach because he played so hard between the lines, but I call him a gentle giant. He was just a sweet person outside the lines. So just following his career, you knew, like Corey Ray and like these others, when their baseball career ends, you knew that Chris was going to be a darn good coach because he'd always come back here in the off season. He loved hitting, working with the hitters, and so him being at Bellarmine and Miami and back and forth the past couple go-rounds, we've stayed in touch, and so it's a guy that we should always celebrate whenever he comes here.
Beyond just the basics of baseball, are there any keys to against Miami?
I just think for us, it's just about our preparation. You have a lot of respect for your opponent, especially another ACC opponent. We didn't get to play Miami this year, but just familiar with them from being in the same league. They're, I just say, the epitome of play the game the right way. It's pitching, it's defense, it's manufacturing runs. I mean, they could put up crooked numbers with the best of them, but they're gonna, if they think they have a chance to score a run, they're gonna play to score the run. I don't want to say they're not gonna get greedy, but they're just gonna say, hey, we got a chance to put a run across, and we're gonna put a run across. And kids that grow up in Miami, or you're a part of that program, it's a lot of pride, and so they play with that kind of edge and that toughness. And nothing against Southern Miss, but it doesn't surprise anybody in college baseball, especially in the ACC, that Miami was able to come out of that. As soon as I saw them in that bracket, with the other three teams, I thought, oh wow. Selfishly, we still have to do what we have to do, but Southern Miss could easily lose that bracket, especially when you have an ACC team like that.
Speaking of following up on the Chris Dominguez, 07, you played Miami. There was kind of a spark to the first 07 College World Series. Good memories when you saw Miami pop up?
Oh yeah, I mean, I tell some more stories, and I mentioned it briefly, but I told these kids I wouldn't say it again. I got to play in Omaha by dogpiling, at Miami in 1990. So, as I tried to share with these kids, the destination is awesome. It's not as cool as the journey. Enjoy the journey. Don't worry about the destination. Just enjoy this journey. Enjoy being with each other, and I get a chance to practice, and we get a chance to coach, and they get a chance to play with each other. And so that's been my goal, just kind of getting that perspective across, and just try to keep them to be where their feet are.
You talked about with five teams in the Super. Does that speak to how strong the ACC is this year?
I've said it, the past few years. I know it sounds like coach speak or anything, but man, our league is tough. And I said we had half the field last year in Omaha, and we had a team that lost in the Super Regionals that we thought we could have had 5 of the 8 in Omaha. And so just really proud of the ACC, and you just want the powers to be, to recognize it. You hate for a team to not get in. We didn't get in last year, felt like we should have. Virginia didn't get in this year, felt like they should have. And you just, you see it in basketball, and it's not an exact science, and it's kind of those people in the room have the power. And so you just want those people in the room to recognize this ACC, man. I've said it the past couple of years, and we've been in the league a little over a decade, man. It's as good as it's ever been. And it should prepare you for the postseason.
You talked about preparing for the postseason all season long, but to see your team execute, what did that mean over the weekend?
I mean, you're happy as a coach because you always feel responsible, and you just want to say the right things, but at the end of the day, they have to believe. And so I was a believer all along because I've seen us like a parent. I know their best, and they have to kind of wash their worst or learn from that. And baseball is a humbling game, So I thought we did a great job of hitting the reset button, and we just played good baseball. Just control what you can control. And yeah, it started on the mound. We were very aggressive on the mound. We played good defense, I guess 2 of the 3 games. And then, we were, as we say, just be offensive enough. We missed a lot of opportunities, I thought, in that Wright State game, but we pitched so well that it didn't affect us, So as a coach, you're always teaching, learning, grow, and just, and I think the other thing this group has learned, we can take a blow. So if you knock us to the mat in an inning or a segment or a game, we have the ability to get back up and bounce back. So we're battle tested, as we'd like to say, preparing for this postseason run.
You mentioned your dominance on the mound, 27 innings, 43 days. Roger Rhodes has been there with you for a while. Can you talk about the work that he's poured into this pitching staff and what you've been able to see from them throughout the postseason?
Well, as coaches, you always want to get their best, and Roger's recognized one of the best pitching coaches in the country, and even though we had a couple tough years, the guys got to go out there and do it. They got to trust, they got to believe, and it doesn't mean he doesn't feel accountable. So, he didn't give up, he didn't quit, make adjustments, tweak some things. Like hitting, you never have everybody rolling at the same time, so he's still focused on trying to get a few more pitchers going, but, at the end of the day, you got 2 juniors that pitch for Team USA and are going to be very high draft picks. So, I would never underestimate the value of pitching development under Roger Williams. Maybe it hasn't been as dominant as we're used to the last couple years, but a couple injuries, a couple guys didn't develop the way we thought they would, and we're responsible for that. But man, we feel like we're back on track, and we got that nice mix of older players in our program. We got some really talented young kids, and then fortunately, we're able to use the portal just enough. We have to be on though. We're not bringing in 10 guys and hoping that a couple of them work out for us. When we go into the portal, we have to hit it right. And fortunately, this past summer, we hit it right.
With this being the first home super since 19, how excited are you to see this place be as electric as it's been in a while?
It's great memories at Jim Patterson Stadium. A lot of success here, but as you said, it's been a 4 or 5 year stretch, and now to get back here and get in the postseason, and selfishly for Mr. Patterson, who I've probably spent more time with in the last year than I did previously, wanting him to enjoy this, and how fitting in the 20-year anniversary of opening Jim Patterson Stadium, we get a chance to host the Super Regional. So the good news is my phone is blowing up and a lot of people are asking for tickets, and the bad news is my phone is blowing up and a lot of people are asking for tickets, and I appreciate you, but I only have so many, so I hope they can make the investment and get fortunate enough and get in Jim Patterson Stadium.
Momentum matters so much when you're going into the game of baseball. You've got to have momentum as the game carries on. How much has you mentioned the younger staff, how much have they really played a role in helping not just your senior leaders move forward, but this team move forward in postseason?
Well, it's a long year, and as we talk about a developmental program, we still recruit at a high level. We need young kids to help us. You don't want to rely on a group of freshmen, but every year that even we've gone to Omaha, Brendan McKay, was a freshman. We went to Omaha when Will Smith, Nick Solak, Corey Ray, and all those guys were freshmen. Like, we need freshmen to help us. And so to see Eberly, develop throughout the year, Tate Davis has been phenomenal, and others like Jake Schweitzer and Colin Mowry's helped us, and Jack Brown and others. It's not as easy as it sounds. Freshmen get beat up. They go through real struggles. Lots of times they're ready for summer baseball and they just want to hit the reset button and come back as sophomores, a lot more seasoned. But again, give Coach Williams and our coaching staff and the older players, give them a lot of credit, because I think they believed in these young guys early on. And it's one thing when a coach says something like a parent. It's another when an older teammate says, no, this is this is how you have to do it, and you kind of hold each other accountable. So I give our coaches, but also our senior leadership, the older guys, a lot of credit for helping these young guys come along.
You had a couple injuries that were festering as you headed into regionals, but how are you feeling health-wise kind of now heading into supers?
I mean, it's such a long year. I don't know if every player is 100%. I don't know if any team ever has that. But for us, as beat up as we were through a majority of the middle and end of the season, it's so nice to get Matt Klein back out there. And I apologize to the, I think, 6 position players that didn't get in the outfield. Literally, after we dogpiled and we celebrated with the whole team standing around, I called out the 6 position players that didn't get in. And I just wanted to make sure they knew how much I appreciated them, and the team knew we wouldn't have been standing out on that field dogpiling if it weren't for those 6 players. The 3 young catchers, right, the 3 extra infielders, and then the extra outfielder. And so I guess it's 7 guys, you know, because we went through a weekend where we played the same 9 guys 3 times in a row. And we don't traditionally do that anyway during the season, but when everybody's healthy, it looks a lot more like that. And man, we were juggling guys in and out for about 2 months there. And I kept saying it all along, we're going to be a better club because of it. And when guys stepped in, yeah, maybe we didn't win as many games as we thought we could, but we still won enough. We still won on the road. We kept our head above water. We still had a lot of great wins in there. And so I was just really appreciative that we got everybody back. And we're not 100%, but, you know, nobody is at this time of the year.
Obviously, you want to get off to a hot start in the best of 3 series, but is there any keys to making sure the guys are loose and ready for such a high-impact game?
Here's the key. I think don't be surprised by anything you see in baseball. You know, you got to be able to handle the good and the bad, or as like my man Dr. Elko likes to say, no judgment. Like, don't get caught up trying to judge everything, every call, every out, every run. Like, just as we like to say, take a deep breath, smile, and play. You know, just play, and let's see what happens.
You mentioned the return of Matt Klein, just having that kid back, especially being a local guy, back-to-back home runs down in Nashville. What's it like having a guy like that, not only back in your lineup, but just a part of this team?
You tell people, and I was talking about it on the radio the other day, like, Eddie King committed here like 7 years ago. Like, Matt Klein committed here, I mean, it's like 6 years ago, like maybe 5 years. Like, the process is so long. Yes, nowadays we glorify the transfer portal guy and the guy who's been here less than a year, but the core of your team are the guys that they grew up wanting to come here. They came here. Some of them, they turned down the draft. They go through this career of highs and lows, and here they are. Why they came here, what they saw, you know, and so you're personally, selfishly, you're so happy for a guy like Matt Klein, but not just Matt, like his parents. And we've talked a lot about parents the last couple weeks, and so and he deserves it, because for those 3 young catchers to help us, what a great leader he was, and he spent a lot of time coaching the last couple months.
You mentioned a couple, you know, maybe the last 2 years didn't go the way you wanted, but how much more like appreciative or thankful does it make you to be playing on this second weekend of the tournament?
Well, don't take it for granted, right? And as we like to say, compared to what, right? You know, yeah, this time last year you're recruiting, you're living in the transfer portal, you're trying to fight the draft, you're trying to manage your roster. We're still doing that. That's just in addition to getting ready to play postseason baseball. So I can tell you, right, maybe just the older I get, the harder it seems, you know, very appreciative. I think it does go back, and it kind of, not that we took that run for granted, but I mean, from 2012 to, you know, maybe 19, that 7-year stretch, I mean, you could argue we were the best team, if not one of the 3 or 4 best programs in the entire country, what we were able to do. So, you know, it's like flying first class, man. Once you go first class, it's hard to go back to coach. So we want to stay. That's my frustration, and you know, I want to be a top 10 team like we've been for so long. And I do realize now, okay, I'll take top 20. I'll take top 25. Keep us a top 25 program, and we can make a run just like we're doing right now, you know. And so it's very gratifying, you know, very, very gratifying. And So as I talk to the players, I always say I'm talking to myself. Enjoy this, enjoy this.
What happened to kind of get you in the groove?
I don't think really anything changed. We always preach, stay within our routine, come to the ballpark with the same attitude every single day. So, it's playoff baseball. We've been through ups and downs all years. When it's time to turn it on, turn it on. So that's what we preach, and we did it this weekend.
Seeing the amount of motion Coach Dan had for making it this far, just what does it mean to be a part of the team that has gotten him back to the Super Regionals?
That's who he is. He's going to have energy regardless. That's what we preach. We're preaching the energy bus all week, last week. He loves us and we love him. So every single game we're going to go out there and we play for each other. We love each other. So just seeing him with all of his emotions, seeing our fans in Nashville with all the emotion, that's why we play. We play for our friends, we play for our family, and obviously each other.
Do you feel like there's another level to you guys' game, or what's kind of the ceiling as far as how good you can be?
I think the sky's the limit, really. Just pitching, defense, and obviously we're going to score runs. But it comes down to the basics. That's why you love this game. Whoever can do the basic things right, they're probably going to come out on top whatever day that is.
Dan also talks about not getting too high. He kind of mentioned it, talked about it right there. But what kind of stuff can you do right now to not let yourself get caught up in the super regional moment?
Sticking to your routine. Coach Williams, Coach Max, Coach Vrabel, Coach Snyder, we're a routine-based team. So whether it's going in the hack shack and getting our early swings sent off the tee, or the pitchers visualizing before they hop on the mound, just sticking to your routine and doing something that you're used to and you're comfortable with, I think that's going to keep us our head on straight.
How familiar are you with Miami? Why you guys didn't play in this year? They are still an ACC school.
Right. All ACC schools are good, obviously. If you're getting to this point in the year, all schools are good. So obviously we're going to do our scouting report and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's us. Coach Snyder always preaches. You play against what's in between your ears. So obviously you're playing against your mind and then the ball. So it doesn't really matter who's on the other side. If we stay together and we do what we always do, I think we have a good shot.
Did you stay up late last night watching that Miami Southern Miss game?
Yes, and then I got right to bed.
What would it mean to you to go to Omaha?
You try to say that every game's the same. That's what I try to do. I try to go out there every single game. It doesn't matter if it's a scrimmage. It doesn't matter if it's game one.
But to get to Omaha,
right?
What would it mean?
That's what I'm saying. I try to go out there and play every single game the same. So when we get there, because I do truly believe we're going to get there, it's just another game. We're going to play together, like I said. It's going to be exciting. Obviously, again, like I said, for our friends and family. For my family, for my mom and dad, that have given everything so I can play this game. I know that just making them proud, that's going to warm my heart.
It's been a few years since Louisville's had a super regional or hosted one. What is it going to mean to have it packed out with so many fans?
So that's why I came here. When Coach Snyder he first reached out to me. Hey, why did you enter the transfer portal? I want to win a national championship, Coach. And obviously that starts with the regional, then goes to a super regional. So to have it here in Louisville with all of our home fans, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see the berm packed out, the train going crazy. It's what I dreamed of ever since I was a kid. So I'm so excited.
This this team has talked a lot about. Everyone's talked about the player-led leadership and things like that, and your name gets brought up a lot in that. Where do you think you kind of developed those type of leadership qualities to be able to come in as a transfer and be a leader on a team and a captain?
I would say I pride myself on working really hard, no matter the result, and just bringing guys along with me. And like I said, it's a team thing. It's not just one player. Even the guys that aren't captains, we got leaders everywhere in this clubhouse. So just picking each other up. If you don't get the job done, I'm going to get it done. And that type of atmosphere, that keeps me going, really. So I'm just feeding off all the other guys around me.
As a guy that's out at second base, Coach McDonnell said, following the Nashville Regionals, the pitching was phenomenal. From your perspective, what was it like seeing these guys perform on the mound like that?
Goosebumps. Every inning. Tucker, Everly, Schweitzer coming in the ninth. It's just, all right, we got the first out. All right, Schweitzer looking like, calm down. All right, we still got two more. So those goosebumps every single pitch, every single out. I think that's why we're ready. Again, like I said, we had a lot of ups and downs this year. We had a lot of high leverage innings all year. So I really do think that prepared us to, one, go through Nashville, and then again preparing us to go through the super regional.
Kind of going off of that, how much easier does it make your job when they're throwing strikes like that?
When they're pounding the zone, it keeps us all in the game. We're ready to make plays behind them. And then, like I said, it's just picking each other up. If they make a pitch that gets hit hard, good. We're behind you. We're going to pick you up.
What was that celebratory Buc-ee's trip like?
A lot of pulled pork sandwiches, a lot of slushies, and a lot of cut off tank tops. We're about to go downstairs and lift in.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Home for the Super Regionals.
You know, man, it's awesome. You know, how far this group's been. I mean, everyone's pumped to play at home. So, looking forward to it.
Were y'all rooting on Miami watching last night?
Not really. We didn't really have a say in who won. Wherever we ended up, we were going to come ready to play. Just so happened to be Miami, so that's great for us. I mean, get to play here at Jimmy P, so it's awesome.
You guys played some of your best ball over the weekend. What changed, or what compared to the way you finished the season?
You know, this group's been through a lot of adversity throughout the season, a lot of ups and downs. You know, stuff hasn't gone our way, and you know, just to be able to put it all together this past weekend, we stayed close together. We're a very tight-knit group, and I think just with us being this close, everything just fell into place, and we were able to play good baseball.
Does it create momentum that you can carry into another weekend, or does it start anew?
I think it starts a new week. Obviously, there's a little momentum. You know, we're still hungry. We got a game to win here on Friday, so.
How fun is it for you to be back in the middle of it again?
Oh man, that was awesome. That was awesome. You know, sitting out over a year, being able to help the guys win is awesome.
You talked about the overall performance of the pitching staff down there. Obviously, it's kind of a highlight of what happened in Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Williams from the week before going in, all he was telling us was 17 inches, and that's how wide the plate is. So everything he'd say is 17 inches, and just drill that into our heads. And I think all our pitchers have a bunch of confidence. I think anyone that runs out there can get the job done.
You guys, I think, beat Carolina 2 out of 3. You beat Florida State 2 out of 3. They're both in the Supers. Have you proven that you can play with anybody in the country?
I mean, yeah, I would say so. I think we can compete with anyone.
Well, you guys didn't play Miami. They are an ACC school. So how familiar are you with the Canes?
Me personally, I've never played against them.
You know anything about it?
I do have a friend on Miami. I know they're a very good team, and they can hit and they can pitch. I mean, they deserve to be where they're at. So it's just like any other weekend. Got the same intent, attack.
Just kind of going off of that, being that the ACC has the most teams of any conference in the Supers, what does that say about the conference and just the level of competition that you guys played this season?
I mean, we're a good conference, obviously. So we got a lot of good teams, and I think the ACC is one of the best conferences, if not the best this year. And you know, it's a pleasure to be a part of, and we're going to show out and compete.
Dan often says, don't get too high, don't get too low. When you get into the postseason, you're hosting a regional, what do you do to not let yourself get too high?
I think we just treat it as if it's any other game. Obviously, it's a little bit bigger of a game, but we're going to go at it the same way that we've gone about it all season, and I think that's going to do it for us.
What would it mean to you to get to Omaha?
I mean, it'd be a dream come true. That's why you come to the University of Louisville, get a shot to play at Omaha, you know. So yeah, it'd be a dream come true for all of us.
You guys look at that sign every day when you go in and out?
Every day. It's there for a reason.